Now joined by Jimmie Johnson, driver of the number 48 Lowe's Chevrolet for Hendrick Motorsports. No stranger to Texas Motor Speedway, 6 wins at this track. He brings back the yellow numbers on the car this week. And then you also have something going on with the Rockets to Race cars. What's that all about?
Yeah, we've got a lot going on this weekend, and very excited to have the yellow back on the race car. We ran it once last year in honor of Jeff Gordon's final race, and the fans have been speaking loudly through all the social channels, and the message was heard. So just another example of how social really drives things that exist in our world today. So excited to have the yellow 48 back on the car, and then changing things up with our Jimmie Johnson ticket package here at the Speedway. We're excited to really call on the school district in the area to bring the students and teachers and build a program that really fits our Rockets to Race Car program that we do in conjunction with NASA. So excited to have the educators involved, more students attending, the school district here in the area involved, and multiple schools participating. So all in all, just an exciting time, and one of my best racetracks, especially of late. So just fired up to be here and get to work.
Good deal. Let's open up the questions. We'll start over here with Mark and work our way around.
Mark Garrow, PRN. Just slightly race-related. Willie Robertson was saying here last week they asked about one of the funniest things that happened to the racetrack. And he said he got into a big wrestling match and woke you up and your babies up. So what happened there?
I was awake still, but my kids were not. We won the Daytona 513, and Adam LaRoche and Willie are good friends. They were around there in Victory Lane with us having fun. I came back to the bus to kind of clean up finally, and then my crew guys, since they were staying the night, we had planned to get into something. And as I was cleaning up and waiting for the guys to come over, I could just hear this noise, and I step out of the bus, and there's Willie and LaRoche wrestling, and having a good time in wrestling. And then it stopped, and I'm not sure Willie will agree, but LaRoche had him covered, and then that really upset Willie. And 10-15 minutes go by, and the crew's there, and we're hanging out and having more fun. And then Willie just started attacking him, and just every chance he could catch him with his back turned, he was trying to take him down. And they wrestled and wrestled. It was quite entertaining to see.
On a racing note, your record here has been amazing lately. The cars change, a lot of different things change. You keep trucking along here at Texas. What's behind all that?
It's just this racetrack. I think tracks with an older surface, the bumpier it is, the more tire wear. It's just a condition that plays into our wheelhouse. And we've hit on some things here over the last few trips, and it consistently works for us and continues to put speed and longevity in the car. We weren't necessarily the best car in all those races, but we were in the top 3, top 5, and I truly believe if you run there long enough, you'll have opportunities to win. And we've been able to win on speed, and then win on being in the right place and taking advantage of things too.
We'll go next to Claire and then over to Daniel.
Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. Chase Elliott says that he doesn't have a track that's favorite to another track. He thinks of them all the same. And I asked him if that's true, that he just has taught himself to do that. And he said, no, I know it sounds boring, but that's how I am. You're so good at most tracks, but you are good here. Do you think, oh, good, I'm going to Texas? Or do you try to have that view of all tracks being the same to master?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I've definitely had favorite tracks, and then tracks that I didn't like so much. And one in my early years in Cup that I loved and desperately wanted to race at was Bristol. And then I went there and I couldn't get out of my own way. I mean, I think one of my first trips there, I left pit road, went through 1 and 2 and crashed. And not long after, I had another car out there and crashed it. So for me, I have had a different approach. I don't know if I don't know how Chase is able to keep it in that same box all the time. But I've been now doing this long enough where I've seen my best tracks turn into not very good tracks, and bad tracks turn into good tracks. And Texas is one I think was very difficult for me to get going here in the beginning, and of late it's been our best track. Richmond has come and gone maybe once or twice for us. So when you do it long enough, I think you can see things come and go.
We'll go next to Daniel, then over to Chris, and then over to Jerry.
Daniel McFadden with NBC Sports. What do you remember about the 2007 race that you won here? And do you believe that the new package will allow the duels like the one you had with Matt Kenseth to present themselves again here.
Yeah, that race was just, from my standpoint, was a lot of fun. I'm not sure Matt found it to be as much fun, but late in the season, racing for the championship and having a car that I knew was capable of winning and trying to find a clean way by Matt and a delicate way by him with all that we had on the line. So, and knowing that it was Matt, I knew that we were going to race hard, and I didn't have anything to worry about, and we put on a great show for the fans. I think tracks with high tire wear, they create so much lap time fall off that it allows us to run side by side. It allows there to be comers and goers on the racetrack. So I think that Atlanta and Texas, the old Darlington, there are some tracks that really play out as we would hope, and as drivers continue to talk about taking downforce off the cars and putting a softer tire on, we're just trying to create tire wear. And this track naturally does that. Atlanta naturally does that. And we all feel, as the guys sitting in the seats, that's what makes it entertaining and fun. So yes, I think the rules package is going to be another great step in the right direction here, but we're fortunate that this is a track that already builds that into it. I'm sure everybody keeps hearing drivers bang this drum, but we want to keep going with it. We want to continue to take more grip away from the cars, create more off-throttle time, and more tire wear.
Go next to Chris and then over to Jerry.
Chris Knight, CatChance.com. Jimmie, for this weekend is the debut of the lower downforce package.
There you go, sorry.
That's okay. Lower downforce package for 2016. What can we expect at night?
I don't know it's warm during the day. I'm not sure how much it's going to cool off, but the less grip, I think the happier we're going to be as competitors. If that's through the slick track conditions, the tire wearing out, or lack of downforce, that's going to continue to make good racing.
We're next to Jerry.
Jeff, Jerry Fraley from the Dallas Morning News. Over this way. Here you go. Since the start of the 14 season, Kevin Harvick has finished second to you 8 times. When it happens, the frequency of one guy, do you start paying attention, or does he enter your thought process, and does it ever become like a one-on-one contest?
Gosh, since he's sat in that 4-car, he's been at the top of everybody's conscious thought and radar. They rolled out in December of 13, I guess it was, at the Charlotte test session, and I wasn't at that test session, but all I heard about is how much faster they were than the field, and they continue to do that through 14 and 15. So, and we've all been essentially chasing the 4 in a lot of situations. I'm sorry, the second part of your question?
I just wonder if it becomes everybody's one-on-one, like what's he doing, and that makes your judgment on that and your reactions on that.
For sure, when somebody has an advantage on the field, everybody's using every resource possible to try to understand why. So we don't have many, but we all have photographers that take pictures and try to look at the attitude of the car, maybe how long the side skirts are, and develop opinions of what they might be doing. And then through all of that, we've had an association with Stuart Haas, and we could look at the database and see what they were doing. We just couldn't make it go as they did. So it's always one of the mysteries in our sport how same equipment with different flavors of driver and crew chief produce different speeds. It's always been a big mystery.